Alright, so I just got done watching Haters Back Off, Season 1, Episode 3, Networking at the nurse's home, or at the nursing home. So the episode opens with Miranda addressing her webcam and actually saying haters back off, haters back off. She's returned to YouTube based on the ending of the last episode where she was intending on pursuing a career in something else. I can't fucking remember, to be honest. But yeah, so now she's back on YouTube. She was trying to do television, I think. But now she's back on YouTube singing cover songs. It opens with her saying haters back off, and she sings respect. And what I don't get is that her singing is not that bad. It's more of her attitude and stuff. I'm sure that there are YouTube videos that people genuinely enjoy without a tad of irony that are worse than what Miranda is singing, because I have a good feeling that I just don't know what's going on with the show, guys. They very much hammered home the follow your dreams thing in this episode more than the ones before. I could tell that the thesis of this show ultimately is a long form, strange, character based sitcom way of telling you that it's okay to be different and you better follow your dreams. Throughout the first episode, the beginning of the first episode, there's a bunch of jokes about dementia. Miranda's aunt is sick, and neither her uncle nor herself remember that, and they're reminded by their sister Emily. She has dementia. They go visit her in the hospital, and because Miranda used to sing Danny Boy for her, and she's like, you should go do it. And they even say that they won't do it for free, but then they ultimately agree. And in the nursing home, they find an old famous movie director who's sort of a Roger Corman-esque parody, who ultimately he croaks later in the episode, which I thought would be the end of the episode because sitcoms are typically 22 minutes, but this is like 32. It's ridiculous. It really screws up. I find it really screws up the pacing of the show. This episode in particular was in sort of like 4 acts, which doesn't really work in the 3-camera sitcom format in my opinion, or one camera sitcom format. Gotta say, her sister is such an interesting character because they make her out to be just it's very interesting because they make her to be ultimately the moral center of the show. Emily, her younger sister, she's the moral center. She's what balances the cringiness of the show and sort of has what they would assume the unknowing audience's reaction and stuff. And she gets flack for it, but then sometimes she herself goes about it in maybe a too righteous way. So in this episode, towards the end, Miranda is singing at this guy's funeral, and Emily, her sister, is freaking out, and she's about to sing My Humps, or her own little version of My Humps, and she just interrupts her with singing Amazing Grace poorly, but then everybody just everybody's mad at both of them, and that's sort of how it all comes down, and that's a shame. They brought back that Owen character from the last episode. I thought he'd be a one-off, the beautiful choir boy with blonde hair, and her uncle in this episode as well refers to her as having a singing voice like an obese Viking princess. That's good writing, people. I'll give it to you. That's some top-tier Family Guy level writing. Way to go, Miranda Sings. I wonder whoever wrote this episode, they have experience in television, I can tell, and we're sticking though to the format of this show. I'm realizing is that the show has its characters and its sense of humor very specifically laid out. I think that there was a lot of planning and groundwork and probably creative control from the actress playing Miranda to ensure that it has this certain kind of writing, certain kind of directorial beats, and that I will say I appreciate. I don't like it personally, but I could find people being attached to this. I read a review recently that compared this show to Napoleon Dynamite. That is just absolute trash. This isn't mumblecore. That's the thing. This is closer to like sort of a Bizarro World Scrubs with a little bit more of a Christian edge to it, but not truly like an atheistic Christian edge, using a church, sort of small church town as the backdrop as opposed to a hospital. and in also coming from a YouTube generation, a generation where everybody understands and probably can relate to somebody trying to make it big off YouTube. There's another line that was written in this episode where she's talking to Patrick, who's the guy that's pining over her, that I'm sure she'll end up with or not by the end of the season. That's how it goes. It's one of those, she's gonna have her own little romances here and there, and with Patrick getting mad and saving the day for her, being the silent hero, so to speak. But she's talking to him because he brings her the popsicles, and I just hate the way she eats those popsicles. But again, that is one of the running jokes of this show. So whatever, that's what they're going for, and that's what their prerogative is. And she just says to him, like off the cuff, I picked a scab today and it didn't even bleed. And he just goes, I love when that happens. That's good writing, people. It's a cute little character moment between the two. I'm just incredibly offended though by this show. There was a Ben Stiller cameo in it today where she was auditioning for this guy when he dies, even though he wasn't really looking for an audition. This Roger Corman-esque director, and her uncle. Oh no, sorry, not her uncle. His grandson or son calls up Miranda and says like, "Hey, I'm busy in New York, and my name's Ben. I'm busy in New York. Blah 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 blah." And fucking, it cuts to the end, and she just kind of like writes him up. She's like, "I don't want an industrial job," and she kind of misunderstands that he's in the entertainment industry. And it cuts to Ben Stiller just kind of looking confused. And I was like, damn, I hope Ben Stiller got paid $100,000 to show up in this show for 20 seconds. I'll bet you that he did it for his kids. I'll bet you his kids are a fan of the show, and he did it for very little, if not free. But I'm hoping that he got a boatload of cash to appear in this absolute atrocity of a sitcom. Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ. So at the end of the episode, she films another video, and it's her doing Danny Boy, which she sang to her aunt earlier in the episode. But it's her doing Danny Boy, and beforehand, sort of talking about how haters can't stop you, and how like somebody interrupted her performance, which was her sister, and blah blah blah. And I think that I wish I could remember her name. The creator, director. I don't think she's the director of any of these, but the writer, Colleen Ballinger. I think that Colleen Ballinger is probably very insecure about herself as an artist and as a creative. I think that she has confidence in her performing abilities, and her singing abilities, and her dancing abilities in actuality, right? Because she clearly has a lot of control over Miranda's abilities, right? But I think she may be using this character as a scapegoat for the fact that she is not a particularly artistic person. She doesn't have much to genuinely contribute to the artistic world. And I think that is what this character is a channel for. And also probably why a lot of this show probably appeals to teenage theater kids. Thanks for watching.